Was going through my phone the other day and saw a bunch of videos from last year when I made a coffee table. I've never had time to edit it, but Apple put them all together into a decent little 3.5 minute video. And so I'm just going to add a voiceover. Uh, since then, I've moved. I have a new shop now. This is in the old house. I'm using walnut, and this is a mid-century style inspired coffee table. Really, my first attempt at a solid hardwood piece of furniture. I don't have an expensive domino, so I'm using dowels to join the wood for the top. Some of this stuff is out of order, so I'm working on a, a template for the legs. This is my first attempt at making a template for anything. It turned out okay. Do a little sanding, both with machine and with hand. Here's the glue up of the top. This was, I think, basically 15/16 walnut that I milled down a little bit to about 3/4 of an inch. And then the legs were uh, about 2 inches thick, and then I milled those down a little bit, which I think you see later on. Uh, don't at me with safety things. I know there's a lot that just from watching this that I've corrected and do better now. Beneath the tabletop, there's a magazine rack, a little shelf there that's going to be basically oblong dowels that are about an inch, a little over an inch wide. So I'm working on those. And if it seems out of order, it's because I have to work in the evenings and maybe on weekends. This whole table build took me several months because I've got a job and a young kid and two older kids and stuff's busy. Finally, though, we get to the assembly. Oop, got to mill down some more lumber. This is where I'm cutting those basically tenons to go across for that shelf. Router those to make them a little rounded on the edges. I've always been nervous with a router. This is really my first go at doing it at scale. Turned out okay. This is drilling an inset piece for each of those, and then I used a chisel to square it off. Sand, sand, sand. Lots of sanding. I've always been a Craftsman guy. There's nicer sanders out there. I don't have the money for them yet. Someday. And then for a finish, I just used Danish oil, I think, over this whole thing. Just like a natural color Danish oil. You'll see it. That was mineral spirits there. I was just wiping it down, but you'll see in a minute when I do the finish. There it is. Just using a Danish oil on it. Really simple. I think it looks great with walnut. These pieces of walnut I got on sale, so they had a decent amount of sapwood. Um, Walnut sapwood tends to darken over time. I did use a dark walnut um, uh, finish uh, in hopes that it will speed that along. But then the rest of the wood should lighten a little bit. I think over time they'll come together. The legs are a little straighter than I would like. I didn't even mess with that angle, but here it is, finished in my office. It looks pretty decent. I was pretty happy.